Hey guys, well, it's time for part two. Keep in mind, I recorded both of these, and this is actually the third video I've ever scheduled to come out. Insane, I know. It's so cool. I did it one time a long while back, but this is like the third video. The last one I recorded, I have that scheduled coming out technically tomorrow. I think it is, or actually later. No, yeah, tomorrow. And this one I'm gonna schedule a few days after that, because it's like, dude, I should just schedule these because I can get some videos out. Cool. So that way everybody's like, hey, cool, we didn't forget about us. So yeah, so lucky number three, hopefully. But yeah, this is the nostalgia number two, definitely, because I've been really up about these. It's been real nostalgia lately. Ever since that cell phone. Ever since hearing about Sprint. That's in the first video, and also a video before that too. Well, if you want to hear the story about that, that's in not the last one, but the one before that. The one for the last one, the story about with that one is about why I never had a Genesis. Well, besides the fact, I was a kid and I was all about PlayStation with that. But later on, I did get a Nintendo. Actually, to be technical, my first console was a Super Nintendo. But, anyways, before I start digging into the nitty gritty details, the last video is about a game, has some information about a game that was only on the Sega Genesis that I never got to play. I played one of them that was in the series. Probably a huge spoiler what the game is there, but I played one of them in the series on the PlayStation. But after they only put the one there, it was put on the Sega. I always forget which one it was. I always confuse the two for the Dreamcast and Genesis. Sad, I know, but I always confuse that. Anyways, this time I'm going to go on about my Nintendo escapades growing up. Like I said, my first console was a Super Nintendo. There are two games that I could think of. I can't remember the first one, but it was a fun one. I'll get into that after this, but the actual first one is Dodgeball. Yes, a little bit of story time here as well. Every day before first grade, before I went to school, I always played a few rounds of dodgeball with on the Super Nintendo. It was fun. I loved it. I love that game. Well, you could just run and just and just do all the funky like ball maneuvers. Like sometimes it just beams straight ahead and gets them. Sometimes it does like a loop de loop and or sometimes it went up and just did like a rainfall down. I know it was a great game. I loved it. It was awesome. But yeah, the last thing I saw of it, besides some crappy PlayStation knockoff of it, they tried to do something on PlayStation with it, and it was terrible. It was terrible. No, that don't count. They did bring it back on the Switch, but just as itself, they just pretty much ported it over. But it would be nice to see a little something extra with it. Maybe they could revamp it a bit. I know, it's kind of a hard thing because, it wasn't really the best game. It's not really going to be the best game now. We have all these other sports games, and, like, I don't want to say legit sports games, but, I don't really see many people going, oh, yeah, dodgeball, let me get on that. Everybody's mostly with FIFA and Madden and NBA, Then there's me who's just like, oh, I like wrestling, But yeah, this will be one of the questions of the day. Okay? There was a game on Super Nintendo. I can't remember it. I remember you could have two players on it, and it was like you played as I want to say it looked like they look like what was his name? what's his name from Earthbound? The the only other one I could think of to compare them to would be like Krillin. Yeah, pretty much Krillin with like a red gi, and then you got player 2 with a blue gi, and like I remember you pressed like the A button to punch, and you did like a big little whoosh thing. It was like a giant fist that came out, and then you press like the B button, and I think it was to like kick, and like I said, a big foot would come out, and it was just like 2D, and you just walked around, and you could go huh huh huh, you know. That game was fun. I can't for the life of me remember it, so I feel kind of bad. So if you remember that or know the name of it or anything, please bring it up because I just remember the first level. That's it, and it was really fun because like we just walked around the map and just punched everything that appeared. Pretty much, it was just like 2D thing. You like I said, you played like monks. There you go. I couldn't think of the name. Monks and geese and stuff. Like player 1 had a red, player 2 had blue, and yeah. But yeah, if you could know that, that'd be great if you could put that in the comments because that game was fun too. It'll be nice to see something to do with that. There probably already is, but I don't know. I guess next up would be Nintendo 64. I don't have it in order, as you know. I mentioned that in the previous video as well. It's kind of just like, ooh, this game, ooh, this game, ooh, this game. You know what I mean? Ooh, that's a great first one right there. Bomberman Hero. I know we have Bomberman R and all that stuff, but dude, come on, Bomberman Hero. That was like, I remember playing that a lot. It was real fun, and it was real cute too. So definitely do something with that. Bring it back on the Switch. It's right there. It's easy. You put it over all the, dude. You put it over Mario from the 3D All Stars, dude. So why can't you put over Bomberman Hero? Say Bomberman R. They did that. So I mean, come on. There's still something there. I said it might be a cult classic somewhere. It is right here in this heart. Yeah. But also yeah, to go alongside that, since I just mentioned Mario, with Paper Mario, like the original one, the original Paper Mario, and then I guess I'll kind of go inside with that with Thousand Year Door, and also Super Paper Mario. That one wasn't bad either. Bit dark, but hey. But yeah, I did like the RPG aspects of the original one and Thousand Year Door. You need to. That's the thing. I like to see an actual RPG one. I mean, Super Paper Mario kind of did it, but I mean, it was on the Wii, so don't mean to knock that, but that didn't do too well. And neither did the Wii U. So, dude, we got the Switch now. You got a chance. Port them over, revamp them, something. I mean, heck. You know, there's so many Marios you got here. And I guess I'll bring this one up just to get it out of the way. Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. Definitely. I know you kind of did the Paper Mario crossover thing to kind of reconcile that, but I mean, bring the whole trilogy over, you know what I mean? I guess it's on to the GameCube versions, because I'm not seeing anything besides the DS game. I mean, it's kind of a recent one, but Dragon Ball Fusion, just port that over to the Switch, since, you know, the 3DS and DS are pretty much not really existent here anymore. So, I mean, Dragon Ball Fusions is real fun, so yeah, port that over to the Switch. Come on, now. So yeah, I know there was a game that I mentioned before that I said I wasn't going to bring on because, well, there's two of them actually now, I see them now, that were like cross-platform between the two, so I didn't want to really smudge into each other until I brought the one up. So this one would go with it. I'm not sure. I don't remember bringing it up last time, so the Ultimate Muscle franchise. Anybody fond of that? There's the Kinnikuman Saga and Galactic Wrestling, featuring them. Galactic Wrestling was on the PlayStation. I didn't bring that up last time, so you're welcome. And the one on the GameCube I played was the Kinnikuman Saga, Legacy, something of the two. I have it so yeah, the thing that I liked about that is that you could buy the little figurines and see them. It was awesome. I always liked that because it was cute. And then after you got so many figurines, you unlock the character, and it's like, yes, there's a point to actually versus mode and having fun. It was a good wrestling game. So, speaking of wrestling games, this is the other one I wanted to bring up as well. That was on both. Was my exact words here are a good WWE or wrestling game with a bunch of exclamation points. And I'm talking about SmackDown vs. Raw, the original one from 2005, and these other two games, which is why I wanted to wait to bring it to here, which was Day of Reckoning 1 or 2, they were both great, and WrestleMania XIX, or should I say 19, because they were the best. I loved those games, and from what I'm hearing, the company that made them, Yuke's, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure Yuke's made SmackDown vs. Raw 05. I'm fairly certain. I also know they made Evil Zone on PlayStation 1. So, yeah, very innovative, guys. Very innovative. Stay awesome, bro. Stay awesome. But, yeah. From what I hear, they're partnered with AEW, so there's some chance there. You know, because the big thing that I really miss, I should have also mentioned that there. Creative story, man. That was my bread and butter. I loved making them because it was so fun. Because the last one that really had it was 13, if I'm not mistaken. WWE 13. It wasn't even 2K yet. And because once 2K took it over, it was kind of like, this is our stuff, deal with it. It's like, okay, cool, I guess I kind of have to. You know? The only WWE game I don't have is 15 because it's terrible. And I could probably find that in a bargain bin somewhere for like $2. No, I'm serious. I'm very, very upset and petty with 2K15. Very. So, I mean, the only reason I'd ever go out and get it is if somebody was like, oh, if you have the whole collection, I'll buy it for like tons of money from you. It's like, yeah, okay, sure. Because I literally have it all from PS2 to, what do you call it? Heck, I even have some PS1 games from PS2 to PS4 right now. I don't have PS5 or anything. So, yeah. And the last one I wanted to bring up was a very good cult classic. Sadly, we only got one of them over here. And I actually made a little thing on it. I have somewhat of a playthrough of it. I didn't really play much of it. It was me, DJJ, and I believe Gia was there too. We did Custom Robo. That game was fun. I loved it. The whole anime aspect of it. The whole storyline was actually pretty decent. You know, the artwork was nice. You know, I really enjoyed it. And I'm kind of upset that the second one never came here. And I think there was a third one too. But I don't know. The important thing is I know that was the only one that we got here. And I'm upset. I'm upset, man. But, yeah. Huh. What? What? There's actually a couple more here. The last story for Wii. Do I have to even say any more? I mean, if you played it, you know that was a pretty great game. I'd really like to experience it one more time. I think I made it a good chunk of the way through the story. I don't have my Wii U anymore, so I can't even play it. But yeah, definitely a great game. Definitely worth an experience if you do have a Wii or a Wii U. Definitely keep an eye out for it. It is definitely a gem. A diamond in the rough. Bring it back. Put it on the Switch. So many of these things you can put on the Switch, and you're not doing it. Why won't you do it? I don't know. I'm just being stupid. I guess I'm being ignorant. Because like I said, I by no means have no experience in, like anything of the sort with, like, coding and stuff like that, so, sorry. I'm pretty ignorant with that stuff. All I see is, hey, this was great, why don't you bring it back? Oh, okay. You know what I mean? And the other one, like I said, another one I had on my Wii U that they did bring back for that and then just left it there pretty much was the Mega Man Battle Network franchise. I've been waiting for, apparently it's the 7th one. It's supposed to be coming out. Supposedly it was supposed to come out whenever ago. Yeah, apparently, supposedly, whatever. Like I said, I have no idea. I think I have the first 2 or 3. I had the first 2 or 3 on my Wii U, which was great. Definitely a great franchise. I love the gameplay mechanics of it. So definitely need to bring that over. Just bring it over in a whole collection like the whole rumor was with that whole anniversary. Whatever it was. I completely forgot. But yeah, the rumor was that they were going to do a whole anniversary thing. Just bring them all over to the Switch and like a whole thing. So that was the rumor, and then they also rumored the next one too, for which in Japan I think it was 7. I think. So that's just like I said, way back, it had to be about a year ago, I was doing all the research because I was like, dude, is there another one? Is there another one? Is there another one? You can even ask a number of GameStops I've been to. I was asking, is there? Is there? Is there? Because, I mean, I really enjoyed it, and I was, like I said, that was the whole reason I kept my Wii U for so long, because I had all those old school games. I had Super Mario RPG on there, which definitely needs to come back too, alongside with the Paper Mario. I mean, heck, I know there was the whole fan-made sequel, so that I've heard a lot about I can't even remember what the heck it was called, but I know apparently it was, it was really well done and well made, so, yeah. Anyways, I tried my best to keep them in order, as hard as it was with this whole list. Literally, I guess I can show you the whole list now, because I just went over everything on it. There's the whole list right there. That's my whole list. Literally, it's all out of order, as you can tell. The very first one I ever put there was Star Gladiator, and then I put all these little tiny little notes there with all the extra ones there. Slashes here, see right there. A good wrestling game. Like them, Oh, man. Oh, I guess another one that I actually forgot. Oops, sorry. But I guess it kind of goes with, because I did make a kind of a thing on DS, I think, for it, was Crash Bash. Still waiting on that. Crash Team Racing just did it. Not too long. It was a while ago, but not too long ago. And, the trilogy in Crash 4 just came out, so what about the unofficial Crash 4? What about Crash Bash? Actually, I don't know what came out first between Crash Bash and Crash Team Racing. I just know they were both fun. And it's sad. I was just a boy when they came out, so it's like, oh, I should know which one came out first. But I don't. I was too busy probably trying to beat Crash 1 and 2. And failing, at least at Crash 1. But anyways. Oh wait, no, I beat Crash 1 with the cheat codes. Oops. With the mash triangle, but yeah. Anyways, sorry about all that mumbo jumbo and all that. But yeah, that's really all the Nintendo games I could think of, starting with Super Nintendo, going to technically the DS, or 3DS actually, technically, with Dragon Ball Fusions. But yeah, I mean, oh, I actually just thought of that too. Another one to add to this list too, that I like to make come back. Rocket the Robot on Wheels. That was definitely a good one for the Nintendo 64. I put a lot of time into that too. That was really fun. Woo! I remember jumping, and then you jump and it goes woo. Yeah, I definitely put a lot of time in. I can't really say anything about the rare games or anything like that. Like Banjo, because I mean, Microsoft pretty much owns that. It's nice to see that they're buddy with Nintendo, so maybe, I mean, they did put him in, they did technically allow him in Smash, technically, so I mean, unless he already has something on Switch that I'm unaware of, I'll probably be looking after to make this. But, yeah, that's my nostalgia right there. I really wanted to make it up, well, bring it up, so maybe whoever's out there will, be like, oh, hey, I remember that game. I'd like to see that game. But yeah, I know last time, with the last video, I asked for any PlayStation games you wanted from nostalgia to come back. So with this one, any Nintendo games you definitely like to see make a resurfacing. I mean, as far as we know that aren't coming out. So basically, this is all that I know. I don't really keep track of games like that. I kind of just hear through grapevine. So I try to. I definitely do. But as far as I know, these games aren't seeing anything come back. So at least for a time being. So yeah, anything from Nintendo you'd like to see port to the Switch, or apparently whatever the new Switch console coming out is. Apparently there's a new one coming out. I don't know. Sort of like a Switch Pro, I guess. They're already doing PlayStation 5 Pro, so yeah. Anyways, sorry for talking your ear off with all this. Just a lot of nostalgia, a lot of stuff like that. So, anyways, I'll be sure to try to post more. Like I said, this is the third video I'm putting up for scheduling, so yeah, better. Hopefully this will garner something, I guess. Alright, anyways, you guys, nostalgia time is over, I guess, for now, until something else happens, I guess. Alright, I will definitely post when I can. I don't know if I'll schedule the next one or not. I probably won't. I probably want to make that one, right then and there at some point. And I do want to try to keep it weekly, bi-weekly, as much as difficult as it's been. So, anyways, I will definitely post. I will talk to you later, guys. And I almost forgot the usual thing. As you can tell, it's night now, so from my perspective, have a good night. But whenever you see it, have a good morning, afternoon, evening, night, day, whatever time you see it. Alright? I'll be sure to post later. Later, guys.